Ladies and sinners, welcome to another Tuesday evening edition of the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Cale Henderson, and we're back at it again, folks. Back at it again. And guess what? It is a special evening, and we'll get to that here in a second. If you guys want to get at us on our Twitter forums, at SinCity_IESR, at Cale_Henderson, we talk all things Vegas sports. If you guys miss a show, don't even worry about it. We're on all the major platforms, and we'll hit on that in a second. But most importantly, congratulations to IE Sports Radio for your 10-year anniversary. 10 years of being on the radio. An international forum, by the way. International. We have listeners from all over. All over. And it's been a lot of fun. I can tell you guys a quick story, if that's all right with you. I was a younger IE Sports Radio member back in 2017. Yes, 7 years ago, my first show with the Neutral Zone with Nico Green. Nico Green, man. Buddy, let me tell you, was a ton of fun. Ton of fun, 10 years. It's crazy. That was 7 years ago. So, essentially, and I did take a 2-year hiatus, and then Larry reached out to me. But let's be honest, man, I've been here at least a little over half a decade. I feel like Larry and I talk on a weekly basis. Feels like a long time. Hashtag buddy, let me tell you, baby. That was a great intro for hockey, and he sounded like a hockey guy. It was so much fun to talk with him, especially when he was available. And I know he was a busy guy. He has a lot of kids, work tough job, but dude, the guy was awesome. Great co-host, and he was a lot of fun. Then I had to venture back because I had a new job. Started scaling back, had to focus on that. We're back. We're focused on Vegas sports. It is booming, man. It's a lot of fun. New things to come here soon. We will be on StreamYard. We will also be here on Spreaker. We're going to do double time. We're going to try it. I'm getting a camera, so you guys have to see my ugly face. Hopefully I don't break it. So much so, and I'm so inspired that I started the carnivore diet this last weekend. I've done it before. In like 2 months, dude, I lost like 25, 30 pounds. It was stupid. A lot of it was water weight, but it's just the diet in itself. But yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, man, I need to get in shape if I'm going to be on camera here. I got to stop scaring people. Quit making blind kids flinch. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is an explicit show, so I can say jokes like that. Comedy's undefeated. Yeah, a lot to talk about, guys. Yeah, 25 pounds later. That happened last time. This time I'm going for 30 in 3 months, so it's going to be much healthier. To be honest, I have a health screening in August for my job, and it's huge on the insurance. So I got to keep things going. Got to keep them rolling. So I had to make a drastic change. Time to get rid of some of this water weight, this excess belly fat, be a little healthier me. I also got that kid on the way. So, you know, I don't want the first thing that kid sees is a giant Michelin man or marshmallow man coming at him, holding him. So, and I don't know if it's a he yet. I'm just kind of speaking into existence. You know how that is, man. But a lot going on, folks. A lot going on. 10 years. IE Sports Radio, 10 years. And again, just to give you guys a kind of a recap, I started here back in 2017 as a co-host of the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, and it was a ton of fun. A lot of hockey knowledge. Now, granted, Nico was the man, the myth, the legend. He carried the show when he was there, but I feel like I did a pretty badass job talking hockey, even though football is my major sport. The Raiders are my major sport, right? I feel like talking hockey is a lot of fun. And I'll say this till my face turns blue. Hockey is probably the most underrated sport out there. Doesn't get enough love. With that said, I wouldn't want to be the Neutral Zone host now because Adam would just put me to shame. Adam Karnick's an amazing co-host over there, him and Zach. They do an excellent job at the Neutral Zone. If you guys get a chance, it is right before the Sin City Sports Show. You guys can always tune in Spreaker at IESportsRadio.com. There's a show, replay at all times. We're on YouTube, every major platform. But regardless, I got to give a shout out to Adam Karnick. He actually reached out to me today and said, hey, is there any way we can do a reunion episode? It was last minute. I had my brother's little birthday party, and I do apologize for getting on late because we were having some software issues. Probably user error, but maybe not because I am kind of a nerd and built my own PC. But we ran into some issues. We did a full restart, did an update, and now we're back on. We're good to go. Regardless, Adam reached out to me, said, "Hey, let's have a reunion. Let's see if we can get Nico on." And I'm like, you know what? Let's table that because I have my brother's birthday party. My brother turning 32 today. He's got 4 kids. Amazing guy, National Guard, all that stuff. I said, yeah, I can't miss that. I can't step away from that. I got to focus on that. We got to do more family time, especially with football coming around the corner. I won't have a life here soon. So yeah, a lot of fun. I would love to do a reunion. And regardless, I've always told Adam, man, just reach out if you ever want to talk Chicago football, because I keep up with all things NFL. If he ever wants to talk Northwestern, I'm also somebody who lives in the Big Ten territory. I would be happy. Yes. No, no, no. That's my cousin who plays for Northwestern in Iowa. Yeah. Yep, that's my cousin. He's a national championship quarterback. He was a backup, but guess what? National championship quarterback. Super funny you talk about that, Larry B. Because college football is a mess right now, man. The transfer portal is an absolute nightmare. So get this. My cousin wins the national title for Northwestern, and all of a sudden Kearney's knocking at his door. The University of Kearney's knocking at his door. He said, "Hey man, why don't you come on? We got scholarship funds available for you. Why don't you advance? You're doing a great job. Play your last 2 years here." So my cousin really thinks about it. He talks to his parents. He reaches out to me, and I'm really happy for him. I think that's a great move because he's a very capable quarterback. 6'2", he's got a cannon. He's just high football IQ, man. He's always been that way ever since he was a little kid. Like I coached him his seventh grade year or no sixth grade year on C team, and he was just super smart. But he decides to accept. He's getting ready to transfer. He gets his paperwork in. He starts moving down there, and guess what? No, NAIA allows the transfer portal. The problem is he got to Kearney and they filled his spot with another quarterback. The business of college football right now is crazy. So much so that they could be recruiting him, coaxing him to come in, and then when he gets there, they're like, "Oh yeah, we gave your scholarship to somebody else. You might have to compete for a scholarship and walk on now." After leaving, it was BS. But yeah, NAIA doesn't allow the transfer portal. They allow transfers. They allow transfers, but that's the landscape of college football right now, Larry. It's super shady. It sucks. So now he's sitting in limbo. He's got some offers from like Missouri Central and other schools around here. Um, you know, the thing I can tell you right now is he's already called me. He's like, "Hey, what about coaching?" I was like, "Dude, I would love for you to be a coach." But I also told him, let's think big picture here. You're less than a year away from graduating. I think it'd be a great idea for you to graduate. And if you really want to coach, be a GA somewhere. Go coach college football. Do the big time. And then bring your cousin along later on. You know what I mean? But that's just kind of the sport. I thought you'd think that's interesting, Larry. It's just a really weird time in college football. And yes, there's no transfer portal, but they can't stop you from transferring, especially if you're accepting an upgrade, right? Like Carney was. Now he's kind of sitting in limbo. He can't go back to Northwestern because he just left. It's a bad look, and they no longer have a scholarship either because they recruited thinking that he was leaving, right? My cousin handled it the right way. He was honest. They took care of things the way they were supposed to, and he got screwed. But that's the college football landscape, man. It's very irritating. It's ridiculous. I just thought it was funny, and it's so weird when you think about it, how much college football has changed in just the 10 years IE Sports Radio has been going on. Like, 10 years ago, it was like 10 years ago, it was like frowned upon if you were paying players, but everybody knew it was happening. Now it's openly happening. Now there's open recruiting. You have agents getting these kids massive deals and money with the school, and there's really nothing tying to them. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. And people wonder why people want to. And the NCAA is just kind of standing back because they literally have almost no power anymore. It's nuts. NCAA can't really do anything. They can't. So it's going to be a weird landscape. I feel for my cousin, but at the same time, there's always bright things around the corner. He's going to be a hell of a coach. He's got a high football IQ, great human being. So yeah, that's why I love smaller divisions, but they're following the big schools. Yeah, they have to. Like, that's just kind of the business of football. It's crazy the way things are working. You don't think UNLV isn't doing that stuff? I think every school's doing it. I'm sure UNLV's doing it too in Vegas. Hey, come here. They don't quite know if that kid's coming or not, or he commits, and then all of a sudden a better athlete that you've been recruiting for a while says, yeah, I want to come here. Well, guess what? You lose. You lose your spot. That's just the way it is, man. It's the business of football, and then you just kind of remain in the portal. It sucks. But that is the business of college football, and you're right. College football kind of sucks now. Unless we're watching it, then it's a blast, right? Again, back to IE Sports Radio. Congratulations to IE Sports Radio for your 10th anniversary, man. 10 years on air. Which allows me, believe it or not, that allows me to go to our lovely commercial. And I can now change it. Because for the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has brought you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports with our shows. Also, check out our daily updated website, iesportsradio.com, for the sports news, the IE Sports Radio blog, our Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month, pages dedicated to each podcast, in our IE Sports Radio community forum. And stop by the shop and check out the merch. Thank you for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. And we're talking about 10 years, baby. 10 years. No worries if you guys missed the show, because I did start late. So you guys probably thought I was being a bum. I apologize. I had to update some software. We're back. We're here. We're rolling. But if you guys missed the show, don't worry, because we're on every major platform. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, CastBox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. I'm telling you, the personal page on IE Sports Radio's website, we're covered. Go to our page, like our shows. Make sure you get in and like Larry B., the founder, the man, the myth, the legend, the CEO. Get in there, follow Larry B. He's got like 3 or 4 shows. Killing it. Absolutely killing it. He even has a show with his wife, which is epic. The couple's perspective. He has the defining moment, and then 3 and Out. You got the pro and college football edition. It's crazy. Get to his website. Get to his forum on the website. Listen to his shows. Adam Karnick, one of the best teammates in the game out there. The host of the Neutral Zone. I gave you a huge shout out earlier, Adam. You missed it. When we were talking about how well you're doing. I would have hated to be the Neutral Zone host, because I'm sure Larry would have fired me. Because you're epic, dude. You do a great job with hockey. Do an excellent job with hockey. He's also the host of Chi-Town Weekly on Mondays. All while raising a baby and being a father and being a husband. Epic dude. Ralph tunes in. The best damn Pittsburgh guy out there, the Yinzer Report. Runs the Yinzer Report. Guys, give him a shout. Give him a follow. Check him out. Thank you, Ralph, for joining the show. It is a 10-year anniversary. It's a lot to celebrate. I told Larry I'm not missing this one. No way. I have a lot of stuff going on. A lot of football meetings. We're gearing up for the upcoming season. Doing a little mix of like Michigan's offense, so Sharon Moore and the air raid. It's kind of interesting. Helping kind of father that in, because as a team and in the type of division we're in Nebraska, we have to be a bit more physical, because a lot of teams are farm boys running downhill. I'm just saying. It's a little weird. We're going to go to a quick break, guys. When we get back, we're going to dive into the Golden Knights. Their luck ran out, and then we got to touch base on the Raiders and some of the newest developments that are going on with the team. A lot of interesting things here when we get back on the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
hockey fans. I'm Adam Kernan.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the '08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies.
And your one-timers.
You wicked wristas.
And be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
Welcome back from the break, folks. This is the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Cale Henderson. We're back at it. Another Tuesday evening edition of the Sin City Sports Show, IE Vegas, hashtag IE Vegas. If you guys want to check out our Twitter forums, communicate with us, get on Twitter at SinCity_IESR, at Cale_Henderson, where we talk all things Vegas sports. If you guys missed the show, you don't have to worry about it. We talked about that before, right? Because we're everywhere. We're everywhere on the major platforms: YouTube, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, CastBox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. And you can go to the personal page on IE Sports Radio website where you can look at anybody's show, especially the Sin City Sports Show. Ralph, thank you so much. Yeah, man, I appreciate the shout out. I will definitely listen, my brother. Sorry I missed that. My brother's birthday dinner. He's 32. He's getting old on me. He's got 4 kids. He's got 4 more than I have until December. So, just wanted to spend some time with him and his kids. He's got the cutest kids ever, man. They're rowdy. They're running around, making a mess. It's hilarious. Squirting their dad with squirt guns. Justice from when he was a little craphead as a kid, shithead as a kid. My brother was an instigator, dude. Yeah, just an instigator. My brother and sister, just to give you guys, I was the oldest of 3. My brother and sister were a couple years apart, but they were basically the same size until high school. They were completely tow-headed blonde. They were always extremely tan. Well, meanwhile, I'm walking around as a brunette. The joke in my family is I was the Schwan Man's kid. And I don't know if you guys had this in your area growing up, but the Schwan Man was no joke. That was that guy with the big truck with all the frozen goods. He'd show up at your deal and you'd buy from him instead of having to go to the grocery store. Sometimes you'd save a lot of money. Sometimes they just had really cool things to buy. But the Schwan Man was always big, tall. He had dark hair, and I happen to be the tallest in my family at 6'2". So hilarious. My dad would always play along with that and say, yeah, that's the Schwan Man's kid. He pays his child support by leaving extra curly fries in the freezer. Like, that was what my dad would tell people all the time. And you guys wonder why I have a sick sense of humor, but that's hilarious. Okay, that's how my dad is. But my brother and sister, little monsters, dude. They were blonde. They were the same size. It was like the creepy twins from The Shining, except they were blonde. I'm telling you, stuff went down when they were getting along and they were laughing. The whole neighborhood was effed. Straight up, effed. No joke. It is hilarious. But yeah, the Schwan Man's kid. It used to be the Milkman's kid back in the day, or the Paper Boy, or the Paper Kid, right? But now it was the Schwan Man's kid when I was around. I wonder what it would be now. You guys in the chat, you guys are interacting really well tonight. Thank you. What would it be now? If I was the Schwan Man's kid, what's today's Schwan Man? What's today's Milkman? Amazon? UPS? I mean, it's kind of funny when you think about it. It's hilarious. Comedy's undefeated, and I'm not saying anything bad. I'm making fun of me. But let's be real. Are we thinking UPS, the Amazon driver? True Green, the guy who treats grass? Like, what are we thinking? Who's the culprit? It can't be a Schwan Man because they basically went out of business. The Milkman's been done for years. The paper stuff has been done for years. Amazon driver. Adam says Amazon. That's hilarious, dude. Imagine the Amazon driver gets out. He's tall. He's got dark hair. He's over 6 foot. And your husband, who went on 3 deployments, come back and there's a there's a Schwan man or a delivery guy who looks like your son. I'm just kidding. That didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. That stuff's hilarious though. Hilarious. Adam, great question. He said, "How are the Aces looking to start the season? High hopes for them, absolutely. If they're not the favorites to three-peat, I don't know how. Here's the thing, man, and I think it's really important to talk about. You still have Aja Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, all who are playing at a very high level right now, right? And then Jackie Young, who is a bit younger than the three of them I just mentioned, and she's killing it. Your top four are better than almost any top four in the WNBA. It's tough to argue that. The Sparks might have a really good young potential roster with all the draft picks they had this past year, but right now the best team in the WNBA is hands down the Aces, and if they don't three-peat, I'd be shocked. If they don't three-peat, it's for a couple reasons. Their roster is noticeably older. Like, that is just me being real with you guys. Their roster is just noticeably older, but they're one of the taller and bigger rosters in all of the WNBA. But what I'm concerned about is, so you have Kelsey Plum is not old by any means, but Kaya Stokes, right? She's 6'3", 191, so she's probably more of a 4 or 5 in basketball terms, so a power forward or center. And she's 31. She takes a ton of punishment off the boards. That's just kind of how that works. You also have Sydney Colson, 5'8", 140 from Texas A&M, 34 years old. Okay, I'm not saying that's old. I'm just saying for like pro sports, it's kind of scary. Alicia Clark, 36 years old, out of Middle Tennessee, right? She's played a lot of WNBA ball. Emma Carson, 34. So you have some older players in this roster, and when it comes to the WNBA, I think depth matters more than a lot of other leagues, especially from a basketball perspective. But realistically, when your top four are Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and Aja Wilson, Aja Wilson is like the star in the WNBA right now, I think you're set up, man. Like, Adam, I think they're in great shape. Like, they have nothing to worry about when it comes to that lineup. It's just keeping the rest healthy and making sure when they rotate, they're getting meaningful reps, right, on the court. But otherwise, a three-peat is totally possible. It's absolutely possible. So yeah, high hopes is the very basic feeling, I think, right now in Vegas, and they're spoiled. The Las Vegas Lady Aces are absolutely killing it. And then you have a refreshed Kelsey Plum because she's coming off of a divorce. All she's focused on is basketball. She doesn't have to worry about Darren Waller and his antics. Just kidding. I hope he's doing well. It is what it is. But regardless, Kelsey Plum is just focused on basketball, not worried about her marriage or Josh McDaniels screwing things up and inviting people to the wedding. Like, there's nothing but focus on WNBA basketball, which I think is great. On top of that, I think the league in general, shout out to the WNBA. I think that they did a great job of maximizing the coverage of Caitlin Clark. Yes, people got sick of talking about her and hearing about her, but the reality is Caitlin Clark is a star, and she's bringing more attention to the WNBA in the last few months than we've seen in 10 years. So she deserves her flowers, man. She deserves her respect. Whether she's an amazing player or not, in the WNBA, I can't say that. And I don't like all the hate that she's getting. Side note, I don't like all the hate she's getting. It's ridiculous. She's bringing attention. It's just jealousy at this point, dude. It's just being hater. She's bringing attention to your sport. Here's the thing. You have a bunch of people who are willing to stand up and say, we're underpaid because of our gender. Never mind the fact that it's business, right? Never mind the fact that you have to be marketable. You need to sell tickets. There's got to be more than 1,500 fans in the stands every single game, right? Never mind that. No. We're going to point fingers and say we're not paid well enough. But when somebody comes in the league that's bringing more attention to your league and more marketing dollars to the league than you've ever seen before, television rights, right? Because we're going to see new television deals being signed. Maybe they're not anything near the NFL and NBA level because it's just not that marketable of a league, right? But realistically, Caitlin Clark just gave you a huge boost, and you got people shitting on her like she's a problem because she's never done anything before. Just stop, dude. You can't cry, woe is me, and then get really upset when somebody's bringing a positive attention to your sport. and positive press. I mean, I think if I saw correctly, that Indiana team that Caitlin Clark was drafted to has a bunch of primetime games, and you saw a bunch of jealousy throughout the league. Shut up, man. You're getting coverage. Very rarely did I ever see a WNBA game on a major network with the exception of the last couple of years, and that was playoffs. Otherwise, you just didn't see it. Now you're going to see primetime games almost all year long. Shut up, man. Just be happy. Be thankful. Prop this up, dude. Support each other. Support each other, and you're going to see more money for the entirety of the league. Heck, if this goes so well and this goes well enough where the TV deals stack up the way they are, you could probably buy out the NBA shares of the WNBA, because whether you like it or not, the WNBA is a subsidized league, meaning the NBA gives money to the WNBA to offset costs of running a business. Change that, man. Support each other. Promote each other. Get behind Caitlin Clark. Get behind your own teammates, man. Stop being haters. All right? Unity, dude. There's just too much division in this country as it is. Why are we dividing over a sport when we could just be supporting each other and being thankful for the attention? That's just my thoughts, man. I went on a tangent. I get it. I waxed poetic there, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's ridiculous what happens. Thank you, Larry, for always encouraging me to step cross that line, because I toe it all the time. Golden Knights ran out of luck. Unfortunately, lost in Game 7. Lost in Game 7. It did need to be said, Larry. It's ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. The WNBA has never been this popular. I don't know if they've ever been this popular. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I don't know if the WNBA has ever been this popular. And I understand Caitlin Clark isn't the only reason, but she's the major reason. And I think people need to get behind that, man, because that just means more money for everybody else. Period. What they should be focusing on is the attention, the marketing, the growth. Like, if they were really in support of each other, every time a Caitlin Clark post is on Facebook or on Twitter, everybody in the WNBA is retweeting it. Because that's 1,000 players reposting, retweeting, which is more clicks, more impressions, great for business. It's stuff that the WNBA can take to bigger businesses. I'm just saying, man. Yeah, Adam, I agree. Women's hoops in general is growing in a huge way. But we cannot act like Caitlin Clark did not push this needle recently. Seriously. He said, as a girl dad, I love it. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. But yeah, I'm just saying, man, like, people need to stop being haters, just support each other. If the girls got behind each other and retweeted everything or reposted everything, that's thousands of reposts, thousands of impressions. That's stuff that the WNBA can take to large businesses for sponsorships and money, so that way you can get the NBA from taking half of the revenue, if there is revenue on a yearly basis for the WNBA. And that's how you become profitable, and that's how you better your income or your I don't know why the revenue split as a player, right? The NBA is, I think they have 52% of the revenue in the NBA, right? NBA players have 52% of the revenue, but they became marketable. They're crazy popular, right? Television networks love them. The NFL is pretty much the same way. It's like 50-50 or like, 48-50, 48-52 or whatever in favor of the NFL, of course, the owners. But regardless, they have a huge split and they get paid crazy money because they've made themselves marketable and they support each other. Even if there's beef and there's rivalry, guess what? At the end of the day, they're a fraternity. I feel like the WNBA has to do the same thing. They have to be more supportive of each other. Otherwise, it's not going to fail, but it's not going to get better. Regardless. Golden Knights lost in Game 7. I thought they had considering all the injuries and stuff, I thought they had a great season. I know I called them to repeat. I get that. But listen, man, you played a really tough team, the number one team in the West, a team that looks like they're struggling in the second round. Just being real with that, like, it's crazy. Dallas Stars are killing it. They killed it this year. They were one of the better teams in all of hockey. So I can't hate on that. And so, yeah, I shouldn't say they struggle because right now they have a 2-1 lead over the Avalanche, who are a really good team. Just in general, the Golden Knights lost to an amazing team. And this could be the year for the Dallas Stars, dude. They are stacked. Like, you saw it last year, even though Vegas rolled them last year, you saw a really good hockey team in the Western Conference Finals where you were sitting there thinking, dude, if they bring most of that core back, that is going to be nasty. Straight up. I'm a believer, man. I think the Stars could really get it done. But hats off to the Stars. They beat the Golden Knights. Golden Knights had a hell of a season. It's going to be very interesting to see what the general manager does with this contract. There was a lot of guys on 1-year deals. There's a lot of guys with expiring deals. A lot of that Stanley Cup nucleus from a couple of years ago, or from last year, not this year, but last year. A lot of those guys are up for renewal, man. Like Aiden Hill, he came out late, but like he's been injured, and Thompson, for whatever reason, was out playing him. I don't know. I think the GM has a lot of decisions to make this offseason. It'll be interesting to see what he decides to go with. And before we end the show, man, I got to be real with you guys on the Raiders. Transitioning to the Raiders. Before we transition, happy 10th anniversary to IE Sports Radio. I've said it numerous times in the half hour I've been on so far. That's perfectly fine. It is the 10th anniversary. It's the platform I'm on. It is 10 years, baby. 10 years of being an international radio show, essentially podcast, radio show, live shows, changes that are coming to the Sin City Sports. I feel like it's a really important time to express that. I've been working with Larry. We're going to simultaneously do StreamYard and Spreaker at the same time. We want to get Sin City Sports as much pub as possible. I have a PC. The PC can handle it. I have to get the proper camera. But overall, I think it's a great idea, and it gives us an extra platform to really show IE Sports Radio. And, you know, another reason I'm motivated to lose weight is look better on the camera, because right now, dude, chunky. I don't mean to get there. I didn't mean to get there. Chunky. Just got to say what it is, man. Spade is a spade. I got to be better. So I started the carnivore. I'm going to be running 3 days a week, at least lifting 3 days a week. We'll see how that works out on top of all the football stuff. I should lose enough weight. No problem. The Raiders, new development. It's not really a new development. We've talked about this whole offseason. To me, well, Aiden O'Connell changed his number to number 12. By the way, how big are your testicles if you're willing to walk into the Raiders facility and say, I want to change my number to number 12? When Tom Brady's trying to be a minority owner, rumors of him possibly coming back to play, and then on top of that, Rich Gannon, who is a former MVP of the Raiders, who is a fan favorite. Like, people still talk about him, and people still glaze him today. And I said glaze. I learned that from our high school kids this last week. People still glaze Gannon today. He doesn't have the best stats in Raiders history, but people still glaze Rich Gannon. I'm just saying, man. Aiden O'Connell moving to number 12, he's got balls. He's got cojones. Grande. He's not playing, man. That's crazy. So, on top of that, there's a lot of people that are upset because there's a possibility he starts. Yeah, if you've been listening to the Sin City Sports Show, you guys would know, I've been saying this for a while, I think Aiden O'Connell is the starter. I straight up said numerous times, unless the Las Vegas Raiders trade up for their guy or draft a super talent in this year's draft, I thought they would just build a team around Aiden O'Connell. And it made the most sense. I think Antonio Pierce loves Aiden O'Connell. I truly believe that. I think Antonio Pierce loves his moxie, loves his toughness, loves his arm. He's the right guy for this type of offense. You know, that C-gap, power run type offense, set up play action. There's going to be 2 tight ends with Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, which are going to be a hell of a duo. You kind of just revamped your offensive line with Jackson Powers-Johnson. Thayer Mumford doesn't really have a lot of competition at right tackle right now, but we'll see how that works. There's a lot of possibilities for this Raider team. They're stacked. They really just needed to keep stacking the team, keep stacking the defense, keep stacking the fronts. They did that with Christian Wilkins, right? Malcolm Kuntz came off the bench last year and started lighting it up because he was fast and he was taking on left tackles, right, who are normally used to power guys, but he was getting speed. Max Crosby on the right side, absolutely killing it, or so the left side of the defensive line, absolutely killing it. Now you have a stud like Christian Wilkins in the 3 or 5 technique, or sometimes probably at nose tackle. Tyree Wilson is a backup at rush, but a great rotational guy who's going to get better. He's long, he's explosive. Look, man, the Raiders have a really good defensive line. You still have Darius Butler, John Jenkins, like two really thick guys in the middle. This is a lot of, I'm telling you, man, this is really cool. This is a good step forward. I think you have a nasty defensive line. I think your linebacker group is nasty. I think they're mean human beings. You went out and got another safety. Give me 1 second, because now I'm brain farting. But you have two DBs that won the best award in college football. You have two DBs with the best award in college. Jim Thorpe, duh. You have two DBs on your team in the last 3 years that are Jim Thorpe Award winners. One you got in the second round, who should have been a first-round pick in Muir, and now Trey Taylor out of Air Force, who's an absolute physical specimen. He'll probably play like strong safety or something. You have two studs at safety, dude. What? You drafted some length at corner? Some spunky guys that are going to go after it? I'm telling you, man, this team is loaded, especially on the defensive side of the football. Now turn to the offensive side. The only real thing that you lost last year was Josh Jacobs. But we've seen it. Yes, it's a big loss. Josh Jacobs was a great Raider. But here's the reality. Today's NFL business is a running back by committee. You have plenty of running backs on the roster. You signed that kid out of Minnesota. You have Zamir White, who really came on those last 4 games while Josh was banged up. You've revamped your offensive line. You've gotten more physical. You're tougher. You have two really good tight ends. Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers isn't just tight end. He's a stud. He's like an H-back. He's a fullback stud. The Raiders might not even need to carry a fullback. They probably will because of Antonio Pierce, but they don't even really need to carry a running back or a fullback because Brock could be that guy. He's a weapon, dude. On top of that, you still have Devontae Adams, top 3 wide receiver in the NFL today, and he's being disrespected. Jacoby Myers is one of the better number 2 wide receivers in the NFL. Trey Tucker is the number 3. So you guys see what I'm getting at here? There's weapons everywhere. And they surrounded Aiden O'Connell. They just have to be smart. Commit to running the football, playing great defense, and you're going to see some wins this year. I don't think they'll beat the Chiefs. I'd love to see it. I don't think they'll necessarily overcome the Chiefs. But there's no reason to think that they can't win 10 games and at least squeeze into the playoffs with a second-year quarterback going into a full off season. They've said he's gotten bigger, stronger. He's changed his body, Aiden O'Connell has. He's been preparing. His arm looks stronger. I don't know, man. I see a lot of really good things when you think about it. And I think that we need to start waking up a little bit. There's nothing wrong with Aiden O'Connell being the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. As of right now, I think he's earned it. And I'll be real with you, man, because I'm very nitpicky like this. I watched some throws from Gardner Minshew. Camp, you seen it, and I get it. They're cherry picking. They were completions, but they were behind the player. They weren't smooth. I'm just saying, man. Aiden looks like the dude, and don't be surprised if day one Aiden O'Connell is the starter, because I think the Raiders have to come in with a guy that really wants to give us everything he's got. And imagine the Raiders start winning with a quarterback with a 4th round rookie contract. You could do a lot of really big things with this team. A lot of really big things. Unbelievable things. If Aiden really progresses the way we need him to, if he just doubles his stats, right? If he throws 24 touchdowns and like 8 or 9 interceptions, that's a win, dude. That's a good progressive year. Imagine if he throws for almost 30. Single-digit interceptions. That would be a crazy year. And he's got the capability of doing it because he's a smart guy and he doesn't give up the ball a lot. He was a rookie last year. I give him a pass. But his improvement the last 4 games said a lot. This is the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And this isn't just the IE Sports Radio. This is a 10-year anniversary of IE Sports Radio. Make sure you guys go to iesportsradio.com. Check out all of my co-hosts, including and at the very least, the Sin City Sports Show. Like, follow, listen to shows. It helps the algorithm. Go to all the major platforms, YouTube, Apple Pods, Good Pods, Google. I mean, we're everywhere, man. Make sure you guys are checking out the show. And as always, folks, we will see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard. Love, peace, and air grease, folks.